The Battle of Umbara was one of the most single devastating battles of the Clone Wars, and despite being sabotaged by a rogue Jedi, Krell, it was still an assault that was doomed to scorn the Republic's military history. But why was it such a failure? Well, first of all, you need to understand why the attack on Umbara needed to happen, and primarily it was the dunium, which is a metal essential in building starships, and, needless to say, this is an essential resource, especially in times of war. And after the Umbarans pledged themselves to the CIS, the Republic was compelled to retake this vital asset. Now, the first factor I want to talk about is how the Republic was ill prepared for this offensive. The Umbarans lived in the expansion region in the Ghost Nebula. For this reason, it's incredibly isolated, and Umbara was a particularly inhospitable world. As we see numerous times, troops stationed in the battle struggled to adapt to this. Many weren't ready for the poor visibility and weren't expecting such hostile flora and fauna to inhabit the world. This should have been rectified by sending scouts to the mysterious world ahead of landing their armies. This is something that we can guess that the Separatists already were aware of, as they avoided committing barely any droids to the ground, likely knowing that it wouldn't have ended well. Now, this brings us on to the second point. Being so isolated on a deadly world, Umbaran's technology was significantly advanced, creating ships and armoured transports the likes of which the Republic had never encountered. This was a very similar problem to that on Geonosis. Clones were trained to fight droids and separatist machines. More unique alien technology caused a great deal of problems. The way the weapons moved and fired forced commanders to improvise on the spot, costing them troops and time. This again could have been rectified by scouting out enemies and looking more into the enemy's culture and technology. By doing this, they could have spotted weaknesses and ensured their clones were correctly trained. Another key issue that the Republic suffers from regularly and in the Battle of Umbara was overconfidence. The CIS blockade over Umbara was very small, and the Republic was quick to smash through it. This by all accounts made the Republic very confident, and they were likely even more so when they discovered the lack of troops that the CIS had committed to the ground. For this reason, they weren't expecting the tenacity of the local militia. The Battle of Umbara has on many occasions been compared to Vietnam in the real world. The Republic had overwhelming might on their side, but the Umbarans used guerrilla tactics to ensure that wherever they engaged the enemy, it was on their terms, ensuring that their troops counted for numerous Republic ones. As well as this, the Republic didn't plan for failure. They were fighting halfway across the galaxy from the core worlds. This meant reinforcements were going to be very difficult to get quickly. So they were stuck with the troops that they had at the time, and if they took losses, they just had to deal with it. The final issue, and possibly the largest that caused the most damage, was of course General Krell, who purposely had his troops embroiled in conflicts to maximise trooper mortality rates, as he hated clones. And this isn't necessarily an issue with the Battle of Umbara, but the Republic's chain of command altogether and its command structure. The countless clones of the Republic army are forced to take unquestioning orders from individuals, and although a strong chain of command is essential in the military, the Jedi answered to no one. They weren't under the direct control of the Republic or Senate, they answer to themselves. And this rogue element of a commander outside the chain of command allows critical mistakes and costly cold decisions to be made, often without anyone to answer for it. Granted, Krell was arrested and killed on Umbara, but think about all the battles that he commanded before, the lives that were needlessly lost. The key issue is that the Jedi weren't held accountable for their actions to the same standard as other commanders would have been. Unlike a Republic admiral who could have been demoted or sacked or even arrested or executed for his failings, the Jedi were independent. And this, in many ways, as commanders, means that the Jedi are going to cause significant problems throughout the entire war. But what do you think the Republic should have done on Umbara? And what do you think of the Jedi's place in the wars? I'm actually quite interested to know. I hope you guys enjoy. If so, please remember to like, sub and share, as it really helps the channel grow and is always really appreciated. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter @TheLoreGuy for regular updates. Thanks for watching, I do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.